Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'll be teaching you how to make this bandana. So here are all the supplies you will need. You'll need some yarn. I'm using this one today, the Redheart Super Saver in color lavender. And you will need a 5.5mm crochet hook. So I have my crochet hook, you'll need a yarn needle, and some scissors. So to begin this pattern, you can either make a magic ring, which is what I'm going to be doing, or you can chain 4 and then make your double crochet clusters into that. But today, we're just going to be doing a magic ring. And if you want a more in-depth tutorial, you can check out my video on how to make a magic ring, where we also make a little practice project of turning the magic ring into a little ball. Alright, so now that we've made our magic ring, we're going to chain 2 more times. And when you're chaining, make sure it's not too tight because we're going to need to work in that top chain later. So now we're going to make 2 double crochets in the same magic ring, okay? So 1, 2. And also, if you want a more in-depth tutorial on how to make a double crochet, I also have a tutorial for that where we make like a little crochet square. Right, so now that you've made your cluster of technically 2 double crochets, but this counts as our third, you're going to chain 3. Okay, now you're going to be making 3 more double crochets in that same magic ring. Okay, so now that you've made your 2 clusters, we're going to pull on this thread to close our magic ring. And a little bit later, we're going to be tying that and fastening it off, but we're just going to leave it for now. So this is what row 1 looks like, and what we're basically doing is just making half of a granny square, which you can actually use to make shirts. So I did actually make a granny square shirt, and you can check that out in my shorts where I used a granny square and half granny squares. But now we're going to continue on to our second row. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to chain 3, and that will be our first, well, that will count as our first double crochet. So we're going to turn our work, and we're going to be making our 2 double crochets in this stitch right here, okay? 1, 2. Alright, now we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to make another cluster of double crochets in this space right here. Yarn over, first double crochet, second, and third. Okay, this is what it looks like, and to keep that corner, we're going to be chaining 3. And you're going to do this every time you get to the top of your project, so we still keep that top corner there. So now we're going to make another cluster in that same space, okay? So 1, 2, 3. See how it makes like a nice corner? Okay, now we're going to chain 1, and this part can be a little tricky, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making our double crochets in that top chain that we made before. Now this can be a little tough at first, but once you get your first row, it's easy. So into the top chain, we want to go through these two, and we only want one on the bottom and then two on the top, okay? So you're going to yarn over, and sometimes I put one at a time through if it's too tight. Like if I make the chain too tight, and just carefully maneuver my way there, just like that, and then yarn over there, and that's our first double crochet. And it will be easier as the pattern goes along. Just make sure when you're making those first 3 chains, try to make them as loose as you can without affecting the pattern too much. Like, you don't want it to be so loose that it ends up kind of looking wonky, but you don't want it to be too tight so that you can't get to it. Okay, and that is the end of row 2, and I'm going to show you one more row, and then I'll meet you back after making 13 rows. So chain 3, turn your work, and make double crochets. And then chain 1, and we're going to be making our cluster into this space. Okay, so we're going to chain one more time, and then we're going to be making 2 of our clusters in this top one right here, okay? So yarn over in the space, 2, 3, okay? And now we're going to chain 3, and we'll make 3 more double crochets in the same space. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to be working into this space right here. And when I say working into the space, we're not going to be going through any chains or anything like that. So you can see this chain right here. We're just going to go through the hole. We're not going to try to go in the stitch or anything, just in the hole right there. So, 2 more, and then chain 1, and we're going to be doing the same thing as last time. You can actually see better with the light. We're going to be making our 3 double crochets in that top chain right there, just like that. 2, 3. Okay, this is what it looks like now, but we are going to be making a few more rows. I'm going to be making a total of 13 rows, but you can make as many as you like and what fits your head. So this is what mine is looking like so far. I've made 7 rows, and I'm just going to show you how to do one row with these several clusters here, just in case if you get a little confused. So we're going to be chaining 3, making sure to keep that top one as loose as possible, and making our cluster, chain 1, and then we're going to be going into this space right here. And you always want to make sure you're chaining 1 to to make that space, or to more define that space, and we're going to be making a cluster in this. Okay, and we're going to make the next one in this hole right here. Okay, now we're going to this one. And this one. This one. And finally, we're at the top. Okay, now we're going to chain 3 and make another cluster in the same space. Okay, now we're going to be making our clusters in each space, and then in the last chain there, okay? Chain 1, and now working into that top chain right there. Two, 3. Okay, that's what it looks like. Now if you want to make like bandanas for like kids, you could actually probably stop here, but if you want to make a bigger one, then just continue making as many rows as you need, and I will meet you back once I am finished. Okay, here is my finished 13 rows, and don't worry about the little curve, that's totally fine. And how I measure my bandana is I put it on my head, and these corners, if they just line up to the bottom of your ear, then that's when I stop making these rows. Now you could of course just continue crocheting if you'd like, but I feel like when I stop there, it is the most secure on my head. So now we are just going to make a little decoration on the outside, or the last row. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we already chained 1. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to do a single crochet in that first stitch. Single crochet, and now we're going to be doing 3 in this middle one, all right, or 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now we're going to do a single crochet in that last chain. So, single crochet, and now we're going to chain into this hole. So, or we're going to do a slip stitch, excuse me. Slip stitch. Okay, and that's basically the pattern. So we'll do it again. Single crochet, 3 in that middle, and then single crochet, and then a slip stitch. So I'm going to show you a few more times, and then I will meet you at the end to show you how to weave in your ends. So single crochet, 3 double crochet in that same middle, single crochet, and then a slip stitch. I'm going to show you one more time. Single crochet, 3 double crochet in that one middle stitch, then single crochet, slip stitch. Okay, that's what it looks like, and I will meet you when I get to the end. Now we have finished our last row, and this is what it looks like. See how it makes like nice little bumps? And for the corner, we're going to do the same thing. You just chain 1 and then continue on. You can see that. Now we're just going to sew this and tighten the first magic ring you made. First, I'm just going to make a knot. So through here, then make a knot, and then just sew through like so. And then you're going to sew back, and then cut, and there you go. You've finished your bandana. Okay, now that you've weaved in the middle part right here, I accidentally forgot that we were going to be making a cord, so I ended up cutting my yarn. But if you do that, it's okay. You're just going to make a little slip stitch into that last chain that you did. So you're just going to do that, okay? Now, what we're going to be making is called a cord stitch, or at least that's what I know it by. So how we do that is we take the yarn and wrap it around our finger, and you're just going to bring your finger down so it makes an X like that. And then you're going to put your hook under and through, and then pull on your hook. Okay, so now you have 2 loops, and now you're going to yarn over and pull through. Hold on. Yarn over, pull through those 2 loops. Okay, that's the first cord. So I'm going to show you again. Take your yarn, bend your finger, put under, then pull. And you don't want it to be too tight because you still need to crochet through. So pull your yarn through. Okay? Let's do that one more time, just a little faster. Bend like this. Through, and crochet. All right, and see how it makes a nice cord, and it's not just a flat string. This one I definitely feel is more sturdy, so you're going to make one more, and you're going to make a total of 50 of these to make your strap. Okay, so bend your finger, pull through, and pull through. Okay, so I'll meet you back once I get to 50. Now that you've made your last cord, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to make a slip stitch in our chain, and then we're going to cut our yarn, then I'm going to pull through. Okay, so then we're going to sew our end in. Alright, This one is not, you don't have to be too precise or anything, just carefully sew through the cord. And I would do that at least 4 times. Make sure to stay in the middle and don't pull too tight because that's gonna bunch up your cord. Alright, now that I've done that, now you're gonna pull it a little bit and then going to cut, and now you're going to stretch it out so it kind of hides that. Okay, that's how you make one side. Now we're going to weave this end in. Now if you didn't cut your yarn, you wouldn't have to do this, but I did, and that's okay. Like I said, it doesn't have to be super precise or anything, just enough so you can't really see it. Cut. And now that's what one strap looks like, and you're just going to repeat on the same side, and I will meet you back when I do. Alright, and this is the finished bandana. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!